Hello everybody, welcome back to Marty Motoring. We're here back in my shop with my 2013 LS460. In the last video, I talked about how I've tried a couple different cleaners and that didn't seem to fix the issue. But this is the weird thing about this car. One day it'll work great, the next day it'll misfire, and the next day after that it works great again. So I think it's really just that injector that we've been talking about in previous videos. So this is the start of a little repair series just on repairing this thing and getting it back up to 100% so that I can enjoy it, especially with winter right around the corner and snow. It'll be nice to have this all-wheel drive. So this car, if you've been watching previous videos, it spent most of its life in Long Island, New York. I bought it for below market value and it has just about 15,000 miles on it now. So it is a lot of mileage for a 2013. It does have a little bit of upgrades, but it technically is a base model. We do have the triple beam headlights, cooled heated seats, heated steering wheel, the 20-inch LS500 wheels. There's a couple little upgrades, the F-Sport bumper. That's all well and good, but the car's been misfiring since the day I got it. So I tried a couple different things, including some fuel system cleaners, injector cleaners. I even got a professional diagnosis from the Lexus dealer to see what they thought, and it all came to the conclusion that cylinder 6 has a bad injector, a direct injector. Now this engine has port injection and direct injection, so we're gonna dive in and try to repair everything that I can. I have most of the parts back here, other than the injectors, which are gonna be very specific, so I'll need to look at the old ones in order to order the new ones. I'm getting a lot of the parts just from rockauto.com. I'm in my little shop space. I am not a professional mechanic, but I am gonna attempt to fix the things on this car that are wrong. So this is the start of a little repair series on the LS460. Let's get into it. Valve cover gaskets is made in Japan. Oil filter, Toyota seal packing 1282B. This is used to reseal the valley plate. And I got these fuel pump gaskets because they're actually leaking too. This is the direct injection fuel pump, I think it's called. We'll have brand new OEM intake manifold gaskets. B1442, the heater actuator. Gotta love the high mileage project cars. Seems to be all I do these days, just high mileage Toyotas. All right, so I have most of the plastics off. This I can take off, take all this off, and we do have a little bit of an oil leak here at the oil filler cap. You can kind of see some of the oil leak from the high pressure fuel pump here. There it's leaking. And then valve cover gaskets, you can see a lot of that. Well, maybe you can't see it, but there's a lot of oil buildup at the where the gasket would be. So I'm just gonna start taking stuff off. All right, a few minutes later, I got the ignition coils unplugged here. Got to do it on the other side. Nothing too exciting here as it's mostly removing nuts, bolts, plastic clips, and breaking some plastic. Remove this plastic cover so we can move the harnesses out of the way, get to the intake manifold, but all the plastic is so old and brittle, which I kind of expected, and it started to break. So I'm just kind of breaking it and going to have to buy a new one of these. It's been really tough to get this off. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, that plastic broke. This is kind of what happens with a car this age. Any kind of pressure, this plastic is just breaking. Here we go. Now this is coming off properly. It's just, it's so brittle from so many heat cycles. This was already kind of cracked over here anyway. There we go, we got one. And that one's gone. We can see the wiring, kind of where everything's routed. We have our injector driver, and MAP sensors are in there. It's a lot of wiring. So yeah, this plastic, as I thought, is just breaking. I'm just trying to move it over so that we can get to the intake manifold. Plug our throttle body, give it a little bit more room. MAP sensor 1, sensor 2. This is just like a sensor, coolant or something like that.
Several days later.
It's honestly been hard to find time to work on this. Now I really like this car, I really want to get it going, but I have been taking my time because this is something I want to do right, and there are a lot of steps here, so I really don't want to mess anything up. I came back at it with a fresh approach, and I managed to get all of the intake manifold bolts off as they are pretty buried. In usual fashion, as with any car repair I've done in the past, everything takes way longer than you think it will. So this has taken me a few hours just to get to this point, and I finally got to the intake manifold bolts. I also needed some more light, so I threw this light on there, and here is the PVC hose that I actually broke and had to find the part number for and reorder. And this is why I actually bought another car, because I knew this car would be down for quite some time. So let me show it to you real quick. All right, and here's my 2005 Pontiac Vibe GT, 6-speed manual, front wheel drive. This car I got as a fun kind of daily driver for pretty cheap, but also a vehicle that could get me from my home to my shop here to work on the Lexus. So I needed something to drive in the meantime because I know I'd be waiting on parts and such. It does fit the car seat. It does have leather seats. Had some tears, so we did some leather tape. It's a 6-speed manual. It's pretty fun to drive, like compared to just like a base auto Corolla. So I missed driving manual. This actually pops by itself, just the glass, and then this also comes up, and you have a ton of room if you put the seats down, so it's actually pretty practical. It also has a factory subwoofer, which is awesome. It sounds really good. I did a couple things to it. I just put some different cheap Facebook Marketplace wheels on it, and just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Did some maintenance to it, painted some faded stuff. And you might be wondering why I got a Pontiac Vibe GT. Well, it's because it's actually a Toyota. This has the 2ZZ GE engine, so it's 180 horsepower, 4-cylinder. It's used in the Lotus, the Matrix XRS, the Corolla XRS, the Celica GTS. This is a Corolla, essentially. Pontiac partnered with Toyota in the early 2000s and made these out of California. So yes, it's a Pontiac, but it's actually a Toyota Matrix. Same engine, and this is the GT, so it's the front wheel drive with the better engine and 6-speed manual. So yeah, fun to drive. Definitely a different type of car. It's kind of like a hot hatch. We'll see what happens with it long term, but for now it's getting me to and from the shop reliably with 31 miles per gallon, something like that. And we'll be back soon to work on the LS460. Unfortunately, I broke a few things, as you saw in the video, so I'm still waiting on those parts to be delivered. When you get the OEM parts from different places, it just takes a while to show up. The same thing is going to happen with the injectors, unless I get them from Rock Auto, which is a lot cheaper, and it's probably what I'm going to do if they're going to work. I'm still doing a little bit of research and figuring that part out, but I wanted to be able to get this update out there that yes, I am working on the LS460. It's just taking a little bit of time. As you saw earlier in the video, the car is still being worked on. I have the parts ordered like this. And the piece that I broke back here, there it is. Also ordered that. And then we can take the intake manifold off next. So that'll probably be the next video, getting that off and taking a look inside and getting the right injectors. So it's been a little bit of a slow process. A lot of stuff broke, a lot of stuff had to be ordered as kind of expected. That's why I got another vehicle while this is down. Can't wait to get this where it needs to be. Christmas is right around the corner, so not sure how much time I will have, but we're taking it slowly, doing it right, rather than rushing it and throwing it together in a weekend and then having to do it all over again. In the next part of this video series, you'll see the intake manifold off, and we can take a look at the valley plate and do the injectors. So I want to say thank you for watching. If you have any ideas, comments, questions, all that stuff, drop it in the comments below. I really appreciate you following along on the journey. It feels like I'm getting back to my Lexus repair and tutorial routes. So it's pretty fun. With that said, thank you for watching and keep those wheels turning. Well, see you next time.